So here's one. Again, we'll read it upright first, and then we're going to actually go through and we're going to flip everything, one at a time. So again, stacking the deck. Let's pretend that this is another relationship reading and ends up being, Nine of Swords. Yes, there's a lot of conflict and drama in this relationship right now, to the point where it's causing you to literally lose sleep and stay up during the night, which leads to the two of Wands, or probably a decision that needs to be made, whether this conflict is too much and you want to leave the relationship or you want to stay with the relationship. Which leads to the King of Cups, which, if we're treating it the way I like to treat court cards, what this says is, since it's a very mature energy, it's like, you know emotionally how you feel about this. You've sat with this long enough, you've stayed up too many nights with the worry, that you know exactly the decision you want to make and you're ready to make it, and it's based on what's best for you emotionally. And so in this case, let's just say, the conflict and the drama is too much and you don't feel like you're going to fix it or whatever the root issues are, and because of the choice that needs to be made, you are very confident in making that decision, the choice, and let's say it's you want to leave the relationship or whatever the case may be. So very clear, straightforward, 3-card reading with all upright energy, lots of conflict and drama in your relationship keeping you awake. Therefore, a choice needs to be made that you probably want to be the one to make it, and you've actually sat with it long enough, you've resonated with you emotionally, that emotionally you are ready to make that decision and kind of move on. Now let's go through and see how flipping some of these cards can modify these readings and change this energy. So in this first scenario, we flip the King of Cups. Court cards can be tricky to read on their own, but now we're flipping court cards, so let's get into that energy. So again, for beginners, since I'm probably right with you, I would read this energy straight up and say, yes, in your relationship, there's lots of conflict and drama. Yes, you've been losing lots of sleep. And yes, you feel like a decision needs to be made about whether you can continue on with this relationship with all that drama or you need to break free from it, right? The way I would read this is, you should have enough emotional resonance with the situation, like we talked above, upright, to make the decision right now as to which would serve you better emotionally going forward. Like, this has progressed long enough. Obviously, Nine of Swords is pretty well developed. Like, you should have everything you need emotionally, but first, again, because it's reversed, for some reason, you are not ready to make that decision. Whether that, in this case, I would actually kind of start going down the path of, why are you so emotionally detached from the situation and the conflict and the drama? Like, this could be a person, some people, when they're in conflict and drama, they themselves they get very emotional, they wear their heart on the sleeves. Other people may just go, very flat or blank or very non-emotional, so you can't tell what's going on underneath the surface. So that might be this, like, you should be, fully emotional and ready to know what to do because this has been going on too long, but you seem very flat, unaffected, non-emotional, what's going on. And as you do more cards and more readings, maybe clarification on this, one scenario could be is, yes, you should have all the information you need to make the decision to move on in this relationship, but because it's reversed, what I would think that this would start to say is, you have detached yourself from the emotions because if, and this might be someone who, for whatever reason, doesn't want to, they know the right thing to do is leave the relationship, but for whatever reason they don't want to, this might be is, you are not allowing yourself to feel the emotions you need to feel that the pain and the drama is causing you, because once you allow yourself to sit and feel those emotions and that energy, you will know the only right decision you can make is to move on and leave this relationship. However, you are being the barrier, maybe potentially not allowing yourself to experience that or feel that completely, because you're worried about what the ramifications of that decision might be. Because it's going to lead you down the path of leaving, and you are more whether that's, where am I going to live, or maybe, if it's a marriage, are there kids involved, and we know what does that mean for them and all that kind of stuff. So it's almost like, I know if I allow myself to feel the situation, I know that my emotions will naturally carry me down this course to easily make a decision that I got to go. But for right now, I'm detaching myself from those emotions and now not allowing myself to feel them, because I know once I do, it's going to lead me down that path, and I'm not yet ready, for whatever reason, to feel the consequences of having to make that decision, because I know once I make that decision, I won't be able to go back, and I haven't really thought through, I'm not ready to go through the effects it may have on other people or the broader situation in this, if that makes sense. So I think that's one way you can view reading, the King of Cups upright versus reversed, and those differences. And hopefully that makes sense to you, and you can feel the nuances and difference between how that affects the reading. Let's go again. This time we have flipped the Nine of Swords. So what this one says is,